What's up everyone, welcome back to Doki Doki Drawing. You may remember in a previous video, we had a look at these. They are the Copic Chow debut set, and if you're interested to see what actually comes in the set, there's a separate couple videos showing what's inside it. But today, what I'm going to be doing is using these pens to hopefully color in this illustration. When you first see this pen, it says BV00 and it looks like quite a dark purple. It actually comes out quite a bit lighter than this when you paint it on the page. So even though it's quite dark here on the tip of the pen, you can see it actually ends up quite a bit lighter, like this purple, this very light purple that's painted here in the square. So even though it looks quite dark here, it is actually quite accurate to the pen cover. You can see that, you know, they're quite a close color match. But just for kicks, before we actually get into coloring this illustration, which is just comes for free with the set, let's have a look at what colors we actually get from these pens using the free Copic paper selections that comes with it. I say free, it's not free, it just comes with it. So here's what I'll do. I'll go through these pens one by one, just coloring some swatches here on this page, and let's see what colors they give us. Got pale pink, sugared almond pink, mauve shadow, jade green, frost blue, barium yellow, and then I think these are the closest we're going to get to skin tones today. I've got an E00 cotton pearl, and E33, this is slightly darker, sand. Then the final pen they give you is a neutral sort of grey color, C2, cool grey number 2. So that's what you get from the Copic Chow markers if you coat only once. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over a second coat and a third coat just to see how much darker we can get with these shades, because obviously even though they've given us like quite a versatile looking set of colors, I think if we want to get a darker pink instead of automatically going for this purple and using the purple to shade it in, what we can also do is what we learned in the previous videos. You can actually do 1, 2, or 3 coats of paint to just get darker and darker shades. So let's try that first. Once, twice, 3 times. Alright, that is it for the second coat. It is now time to go for a third coat of paint for the darkest shade. Alright, so there we have it. 10 pens and 30 different-ish shades of color that we can use to color this in. A couple things I want to point out just from doing these color swatches is, one, I'm having a lot of fun even though I'm not actually coloring in a character, I'm just doing these swatches on a page. I'm already kind of enjoying myself more than when I paint digitally, because when you draw digitally everything's just kind of handed to you, but when you're drawing like analog, it's very, very responsive to every slight change of angle and pen pressure that you make with the brush. And the second thing I want to point out is it's really helpful that they put a slightly darker gray ring around the pen on the super brush. So when you're looking for the super brush, like, because these look almost exactly the same on both ends of this pen, but if you're looking for the super brush and you end up with the highlighter brush, you're like, oh no, I want to have a nice smooth paintbrush that I can paint with. All you have to do is look for this, the darker grey ring. What I don't like so much is that these Chow markers, because they're like perfectly cylindrical, they roll around all over the place. Like, I think the Copic sketch markers and the more expensive one that I don't even know what they're called, they're kind of rectangular and boxy shaped, so they don't actually roll around on the paper. So that's definitely something you want to consider if you haven't already bought yourself a set of Copic markers and you're starting from scratch. If you go with the Chow markers, I think the selection of colors is ever so slightly reduced, and also they're rolly, so they just roll all over your desk. But as you can see, even though there are dozens more of these Copic Chow markers, even with only 10, we got plenty of colors to choose from for this illustration. Let's get these pens ready and let's color this in. I'm gonna choose this. What is this? This cotton pearl. I'm gonna use this for a skin tone. Let's see how this goes. And I forgot to decide, but I'm gonna have the light coming over here from the top left. Now, I'm no expert, but if I were doing this digitally, I'd probably use a white marker to do the highlights afterwards, but I think that's gonna be harder to do with these pens, so I'm going to just leave this area unpainted to start with. I can kind of see why for the beginner set they give you these nice light shades, because even though I'm not drawing completely in the lines, you can't really tell how messy it is because this color is so light already. Even when I go outside the lines, it's not as noticeable. Now the largest area of this character actually appears to be the hair, so I'm gonna do the hair next if that's alright. Frost blue. And at this point I'm starting to wonder, how will I do the highlights later? Maybe I should just color the top part and the bottom part first. I'm gonna let this blue pen dry, and while it's drying, I'm actually going to color in the hat. I'm thinking maybe purple. And now, because I'm feeling impatient, I want to go in and do the darker part of the hair. So before I forget to do it, let's go and darken this hair a little bit where the shadows would be. Then I suppose if I need it to be any darker, I can actually use the cool gray pen. But even just doing multiple layers over and over and over with this blue pen seems to be making it nice and dark, actually. I didn't know that you could be so versatile with a single pen. Alright, starting to get a little bit messier. I got a little paint happy. And while I've got this blue pen out, I'm actually going to color her eyes in the same color as her hair. And I'm leaving a little bit of white area at the base because I can't do highlights separately later. Well, I'll just go a second coat of darker blue here at the top, but it is not getting as dark as I want it to be. So time to test out this cool gray. If I layer this cool gray over the blue, will this be too dark? Let's see how this looks. Okay, no, it works. It does give it quite a distinctly less saturated feel though. Maybe we should give her pupils. I don't know if this sort of illustration style you would normally give the character pupils, but I'm going to use this 0.1 millimeter multiliner, Copic multiliner that comes with the debut set. I'm going to just add a tiny little pupil in here. Let's see how that looks. Okay, not sure I like it, but I've done it, so it's too late. Maybe if we add some of this purple, we can darken the top of the eyes. So I'll start with pink for the clothing here, and purple for the top part. And I'll have some purple for these boots. Now let's do some shading, shall we? Also having some darker shades of purple here on the creases. Let's try the slightly hotter pink. I'm going to use the blue and the mints and the greens. I'm going to have lots of these green colors. Looks like we got these. It looks like these three are designed to be used together. So I'm going to use these three for the cupcake. Maybe we'll use the yellow for... I don't even know what this is supposed to be. Some weird decoration on the side of this muffin. Is it a muffin? Cupcake? What's the difference? How about some pink hearts? Green for these dots. The green has definitely helped to rebalance this a bit. And give some shading for this yellow part that I just drew in. Let's also do the same with the rest of the cupcake. Let's give some depth where there are overlapping and shaded parts. Gotta say, these pens are definitely very forgiving. It must be a combination of the colors that they've chosen to supply us with, but also just the fact that I think watercolor, even though traditional watercolor might be a little bit harder to control if you've never done it before, like as a pen, just feels like a much more forgiving experience. It's definitely starting to want to look up some of those techniques where you actually kind of like swoop the brush and get different textures by like brushing at different speeds. Now I am in a pickle. I do not know what color to use for the gloves for this. Is it a cat? Whatever this sort of demon character is. And I don't know what color to use for the rest of the cupcake. Try the sand color. Maybe this will be... It might be a little bit too dark, but okay, we're just trying it. No, this looks okay. Not too bad. This glove. What am I going to do about this glove? It's so scary because it's analog. I can only do it once. I've just found a really cool technique. If you use these Copic multi-liner is the one like you're not using or whatever. If you just leave it here, it prevents the pens from rolling away. Ha, that's a good trick. I am a genius. I feel like there's too much white on this character, so I'm going to color in this with the slightly hotter pink. I'm going to use the rest of this pink to color in some of the shading on the dress. And then this could also be white, but I'm going to go with some pink for this part of the boot. Yeah, I regret that. That should probably have stayed white. Oh well, too late. Alright, it's time to color in the girl's demon friend. Let's go for green. What did I ever do to you? Yep, this is definitely not the right color for this dude. But the thing is, I didn't want him to clash with the blues and the purples that are already over here. Let's give him the same pink bow that the girl is wearing. Why not? It's as good a color as any other. And then whatever this is, it's kind of like, I don't know, candy apple? Let's use this color. We haven't actually used this yet. Jade green. Let's shade him in a little bit as well. Give him a little depth. And then for these white areas, I'm going to use the C2 Cool Gray as a bit of shading. Only very subtly. Want to retain as much as I can of the bright whiteness. I have teeny tiny bits here where there might be some shadow. And I might even add a little more shading on her leg. I'm going to use the E33. Hopefully this will do some nice sort of under the pants leg, shorts leg, skirt leg bit. Okay, definitely overdid it. I want to add a little bit more shading underneath her neck. There we go. And because I don't have a darker blue, I'm going to continue using the gray. I'm just going to shade in more of these very dark areas. I think as one finishing touch, I'm going to do that thing where you add the skin color to the hair, so it kind of looks like the hair is slightly transparent, but it's not really working. It looks kind of dark. No, it just kind of looks like it became darker. Oh no, but as it dries, you can start to see it come through. Have another bit of shading here for the shade of the nose. And hey presto! That is it for my coloring of this illustration that comes with the Copic debut set, the Copic Ciao debut set. Alright everyone, that is my first attempt at doing a color illustration. I mean, I have actually purchased Copic markers before and attempted to do this, but it was years ago and I never really stuck with it. So jumping back into Copic markers with this debut set and this illustration that they let you try out just to test out the pens and get a feel for what this selection of 10 pens can do. Feel free to give this attempt at coloring a number rating in the comments section below and let us know what other stuff would you like to see using Copic marker pens, because there's quite a lot you can do with these. What other colors are you interested in seeing? What kind of types of illustration and coloring and techniques are you interested in learning? Because I personally, I would love to learn all the cool techniques and blending methods that are available with these pens. There's a special pen which doesn't have any color. It's just designed to kind of erase things that you didn't want or to blend other pens together more smoothly. There's a whole Copic world out there, so I'm kind of excited to jump in and learn more about it. If you're interested in color illustration, we do have some other videos on the channel, so check out the playlist, subscribe to Doki Doki Drawing, and we'll see you in the next Doki Doki Drawing video. Bye!